We are day 12 of the 21 days challenge of blockchain fundamentals. Welcome back again to my channel. Before I start this video, I would like to state that we are halfway or through halfway of our 21 days challenge, because this is day 12. And also I would like to thank everybody who made it possible for us to pass our first milestone. So the first milestone was to have 10 subscribers, like 10 organic subscribers on this channel, and that happened over this weekend. So I thank everybody who subscribed and who are like supporting this movement. So the next milestone is 100 subscribers. So let's keep that string rolling. For today's video, we are going to be touching some subjects on tokens. So we'll be talking about tokens. We will also be talking about ERC20 protocols of Ethereum. We will also be talking about Web3.0 and the future of internet. And lastly, we'll be talking about limitations and sharding. So stick with us for the coming minutes and let's dive deeper into these topics. So we start by diving deep into homework on tokens. Question number 1, Lego. What is a token? Well, a token is nothing other than a digital programmable asset, and this token or assets that is programmable can represent anything in the real world. So by that, it can represent loyalty points, it can represent a house, a car, a t-shirt, it can represent anything. So that's just a short definition of what a token is when we talk about tokens in the cryptocurrency space. For the second question, how do you create a token on Ethereum? Well, by launching a smart contract on the Ethereum network, and in that contract you're going to define what your token is. But when you're doing that, you of course have to take into consideration that you have to follow the ERC20 protocol, and for that we're gonna dive into the next section. So on this section, on the second section, we have homework on ERC20 protocol. We have 2 questions here. So what are the benefits of setting a token standard like ERC20? Well, I'll start by saying both the users and exchange can handle a large amount of different tokens. Because there is a standard, this standard makes sure that all the tokens that has to come in will follow the same set of rules. So it will make it easier for exchanges to apply these tokens to their platform, and also for users. It also of course helps developers to structure their smart contract. So by doing that, they're going to eliminate room for error, because this, like making a token at the base of the contract, you don't want to have bugs or mistakes or faults, because this can be very disastrous for both users and exchanges. The functionality is very, very important. Like, imagine having a smart contract and there are bugs within the token, and the smart contract has to decide or manage the tokens. This can be very, very disastrous depending on the type of smart contract that is going to be deployed. Question number 2, what functions are in the ERC20 standard interface, and what do they do? Well, for this question, I'll start by saying you have total supply. So total supply will give you the sum of balance, so it's total supply of the tokens. You have balance off, and balance off shows or is going to display you the balance of the tokens that is this on a specific address. You have allowance, and allowance will give the numbers of tokens allowed to be transferred from a given address to another address. You have transfer, and of course transfer is going to give an amount of token from one sender to the other. So you would basically just transfer your tokens. So with this function you can transfer your token. Then you also have approve. Approve will increase the allowance for a specific given address to a given amount. So approved amount of currencies that can be moved from one address to another. And then you have transfer from. So used to withdraw a given amount of tokens from a given address. So this address must have both a balance and allowance that is bigger than the given amount. So this is very important. Homework on Web 3.0 and future of internet. We have two questions here, and the first question is, what are the current issues with blockchain 2.0 and what are the promises of blockchain 3.0? Well, blockchain 2.0, we have problems on scalability, like transactions. There's a limitation on transactions, and that's like the biggest problem with blockchain 2.0. That's like with Bitcoin, Ethereum. And for the promises of blockchain 3.0, it's going to be, of course, the like to solve the scalability issues, and also running of dApps, like this decentralized application. Well, here, like if you compare this with the traditional way of doing things, web servers will be pulling their data from a blockchain instead of a traditional centralized server. And of course, a platform of dApps that can handle this large amount of transactions and users, the scalability issue needs to be solved first. So that is like what is being expected from blockchain 3.0. Question number 2. What are the benefits of Web 3.0 decentralized internet? Well, here we have stability, security, and redundancy. Of course, difficulty to censor or take down a network. Of course, here we have stability, security, and redundancy. Those are like the three main benefits. And when we talk of stability, it's very, very difficult for a network to be taken down or to be censored. So here, this is what we mean, like when we talk about stability, and also security, of course. And it is also easier and cheaper to deploy a new server. Like if there is a problem with the server, you just deploy a new one and you move on. It's cheaper. And of course, the data more secure thanks to redundancy. So the network is decentralized. There are a lot of nodes everywhere, so it means that the data is very, very secured. Like if one server is blown up, you have all these other redundant servers where you can pull back data from. So those were the answers on homework on Web 3.0 and future of internet. For the last part, we have homework on limitations and sharding. And here we have 3 questions. And the first question, what are the pros and cons of running the EVM on so many computers? Well, of course, the pros is going to be redundancy, one more time, because it is in overabundance. So this redundancy is in computation, right? So it is also good for security, as we just explained on the previous homework on Web 3.0. And a con, of course, is going to be scaling. We just discussed that as well. So every computer is doing some computation task, and to achieve higher levels of processing power, workload needs to be distributed in some way. So the problems of scaling, like the scaling issue, needs to be dealt with. Question number 2: what is sharding? Well, in sharding, like, you will see smaller groups of nodes will run different smart contracts independently of each other. So they will run it and they don't need to link up. And this is in order to solve the scaling problem. So here we are expecting better performance. So this is like the promise of sharding. And the third question is, why must Ethereum future updates be backwards compatible? Well, here, if the Ethereum, look at it this way, if the Ethereum update is not backwards compatible, this means that all the other dApps or applications that are already up and running is going to have a problem. Because, and not only that, Ethereum's reputation is going to be at stake. It's going to be damaged, and that's also not good. It's also not good for them. And all these other dApps that are like smart contracts that are unable to stop, they're already up and running. So that's why Ethereum's update needs to be backward compatible. So those were my answers for today, day 12. And today, just a small recap: we had homework on tokens, we had homework on ERC20 Protocol, we had homework on Web 3.0 and the future of internet, and last but not least, we had limitations and sharding. If there is anything you would like to add, and if there are some mistakes I made, please comment down below. If you like what you heard, if you're enjoying the content, please give me a like and subscribe to this channel for more upcoming content. And when the homework is going to be done, then we're gonna start diving into the X-hunts of the cryptos. And for now, let me just say thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching this video, thank you for liking the video, and I will see you on day 13. This is Victor and I'm checking out.